Welcome back, Tenno. I've said it before. Nova is my comfort frame, and this is a Nova you should add to your arsenal. Null Star and Antimatter Drop wipe rooms. You set off chains and everything around you drops. You'll be casting non-stop, and each cast gets stronger as the mission goes on. Steelpath gets easy, and your squad will want you in. First up, Null Star. It used to be the throwaway slot. Now it gives up to 90% damage reduction and it hits. I'm running 2 augments that turn it into a defensive nuke that never really turns off. Molecular Fission keeps your particles stopped by turning primed kills into more stars, and it makes particles apply the last version of Molecular Prime you use. Neutron Star adds guaranteed heat in an 8-meter burst when you recast, and double seek range, so the remaining particles rush targets and stagger them while you refresh your reduction. Put them together and your DR stays full while every recast clears space around you. Next, Antimatter Drop. You spawn the orb, steer it with your reticle, pump it with damage, then recast to speed it up and send it through a pack for a big blast detonation. Wormhole is out. I replace it with Hydroid's Tempest Barrage because this build wants damage and control, not teleports. Tag a spot at unlimited cast range with line of sight, and it rains water missiles. Each impact forces a corrosive proc and a stagger in a 5-meter blast, which holds lanes and adds another status for weapons that scale off unique procs. I can recast to run multiple barrages and choke a path. It is a one-handed cast, so I keep moving, reloading, or shooting while I place it. Wormhole can teleport an Antimatter Drop while charging it halfway, but Barrage gives constant value every time I press it. Last, Molecular Prime. Tap for slow or hold for speed up. It coats enemies for up to 30 seconds, makes them take plus 100% damage, and makes them explode on death. Explosions can chain. This is the core of the kit because it fuels everything else. Kills on primed enemies restore Null Star charges through Molecular Fission, so your 90% DR stays up. Null Star particles also start priming targets with the last version you used, which keeps the map under control between casts. It also ties into Nova's passive. Kills load enemies and you have a 15% chance to drop a health orb. Kills sped up enemies and you have a 15% chance to drop an energy orb. Pick the mode you need and the fight pays you back. That's the plan. Keep Null Star at 90% with Molecular Fission. Use Antimatter Drop to finish packs. Drop Tempest Barrage where you need corrosive staggers. And keep Molecular Prime rolling to feed your particles and your passive. Simple control, steady damage. Now let's lock in the build. Here's the full breakdown of my Nova build, focused on DR uptime, field control, and steady strength scaling. Arcane Power Ram is my short burst of strength between casts. Every ability I use adds 9% ability strength to the next one, up to 4 stacks. If I press the same ability twice in a row, the stacks reset. I keep a clean rhythm by rotating Null Star, Molecular Prime, Tempest Barrage, and Antimatter Drop. Molt Augmented is the long ramp. Each direct kill adds 0.24% ability strength, up to 60% at 250 stacks, and it holds until I die. Companion kills count. Eximus Mercy kills do not. The result is steady strength that builds as the mission goes on. Brief Respite in the Aura slot converts energy spent into shields at 150%. It's even better with Augur set mods, hitting a total of 390% conversion. Because conversion is tied to energy spent, efficiency lowers the return, and Blind Rage raises it. The result is steady shield gates while I cast. Power Drift sits in Exilus for a clean plus 15% ability strength and 30% knockdown resist. Small bump, real value. Primed continuity adds 55% duration. That keeps Null Star particle count healthy, stretches Molecular Prime's prime window, and smooths the timing on Tempest Barrage. Primed Flow gives me 185% more energy. Nova Prime already has a strong pull, and this pushes it high enough that I can recast on demand without starved gaps. Archon Vitality brings plus 100% health and makes heat status from abilities apply twice. With Neutron Star on Null Star, every recast sends out 2 heat procs per target, which is exactly what I want for consistent heat application. Blind Rage is my main strength spike, plus 99% ability strength at the cost of 55% efficiency. The extra energy spent comes back as shields through Brief Respite, so the penalty works for me. Transient Fortitude adds another 55% ability strength and trims duration by 27.5%. Primed Continuity and my Duration Shards cover that cut, so the loop stays stable. Neutron Star turns Null Star into a point-blank primer. On recast, remaining particles burst for 240 heat damage with guaranteed status in an 8-meter radius. Seek radius is doubled, damage scales with strength, radius scales with range, and line of sight is required after 5 meters. It also lets me refresh my damage reduction without fully dropping stacks. Molecular Fission ties the whole thing together. Null Star hits apply your last Molecular Prime mode, and primed enemies that die restore particles up to the duration base cap. At max rank, each kill restores 2 charges. That's how the 90% DR stays topped without constant manual upkeep. Umbral Intensify adds 44% ability strength and 11% Tau resistance. It's the last push I need to hit strength targets without overcomplicating the build. For Archon Shards, I'm running 1 Tau Forged Amber for plus 37.5% casting speed. Faster recasts and faster waves keep the flow tight. 1 Tau Forged Violet converts health pickups into plus 30% energy and energy pickups into plus 30% health, which smooths sustained during casting spikes. 3 Tau Forged Crimson add plus 15% ability duration each. Those 3 plus primed continuity lock my timers in. That's the frame done. I keep 90% DR up, the field stays primed, heat from Neutron Star and Corrosive from Tempest Barrage keep ticking, and strength climbs as the mission goes on. Brief Respite handles my shield gates while the shards lock duration and casting feel clean, steady, built for control. Now let's move to weapons. I am using the Coda Bassocyst for my primary weapon for this build. The Coda Bassocyst is a status-centric sonic shotgun with infinite body punch through and multiplicative condition overload, scaling on direct hits. Primary fire deals blast and hits hard. It's an adversary weapon, so you set the bonus element and after rank 40, swap it freely with Elemental Vice. It packs innate blast, impact, magnetic, and radiation. Base stats lean into status, not crit, which fits this role. The alt fire is the Star. It launches mites that latch onto up to 6 enemies and apply impact and magnetic every second for 10 seconds, while also applying any statuses you mod for. Multiple mites stack on the same target and ram status faster. That makes it an excellent primer and a reliable attrition tool. Blast procs from the weapon can chain as those ticks roll, clearing lighter mobs while you use primary fire to finish tougher targets. It also has a Mercy teleport trait. When a target is open to Mercy, the crosshair teeth tell you, fire the alt teleport in, and auto mercy. You gain plus 100% damage and plus 100% multi-shot for 20 seconds, refreshed on mercy kills. This counts as a normal mercy, so Parason mods trigger. The mites ignore nullifier and Arctic Eximus bubbles and shrink them on tick, and teleporting under that bubble does not nullify you. So here's my Coda Bassocyst setup. It plays into status layering, clean headshot scaling, and better reach on those wide sonic shots. For the Arcane, I am using primary Deadhead at max rank. It shines here because headshots are easy to secure. The alt fire tags up to 6 enemies and highlights their heads for 5 seconds, so I can swap to primary fire and chain precision headshot kills to build Deadhead to 3 stacks fast. The mites ignore nullifier and Arctic Eximus bubbles and shrink them on tick, so I can keep marking heads even inside bubbles. 1 stack, Deadhead adds plus 120% damage for 24 seconds, plus 30% headshot multiplier, and minus 50% recoil, which steadies follow-up headshots and keeps the buff rolling. Electricity and gas headshot procs can also trigger it when aimed at the head. Galvanized acceleration is in the Exilus slot for plus 30% projectile speed and beam length, plus 30% more for 10 seconds on kill, stacking twice. Faster shots extend the effective range before fall-off kicks in and help land headshots more reliably. On the mods, Galvanized Savvy is perfect here because this gun floods enemies with unique statuses, and the primary shot is a true direct hit. You get plus 80% status chance, and on kill it adds plus 40% direct hit damage per status on the target for 20 seconds, stacking twice. The Coda Bassocyst supplies plenty of conditions on its own. Blast on primary, impact and magnetic every second from the mites, plus whatever elements you mod in. Status from anywhere counts, so heat from Neutron Star and Corrosive from Tempest Barrage push the count higher. Multi-shot instances are treated as sequential hits, which lets the first instance apply a proc and the next instance in the same trigger pull cash in Savvy's bonus. With infinite body punch through, one well-placed shot can pass through a line of already primed enemies to secure kills and refresh stacks. Galvanized Hell adds plus 110% multi-shot, then plus 30% per kill for 20 seconds, up to 4 stacks. Multi-shot instances are treated as sequential hits, so Savvy's bonus applies within the same trigger pull as more procs land. Contagious Spread adds plus 90% Toxin. Toxic Barrage adds another plus 60% Toxin and plus 60% status chance. Chilling Reload gives plus 60% cold and plus 40% reload speed to take the edge off the 2.5 second reload. Blaze adds plus 60% base damage and plus 60% heat. Primed Ravage gives plus 110% critical damage. Critical Deceleration adds plus 200% critical chance with a 20% fire rate cut. That's the package. Deadhead rewards clean headshots. The Exilus pushes range. Savvy multiplies damage as statuses stack. And the Elemental Suite plus multi-shot keeps procs flowing. It fits the Nova shell I'm running, where Null Star and Tempest Barrage are already tagging the room. I am using the Kompressa Prime for my secondary weapon for this build. Kompressa Prime is a viral bubble gun that spits 4 bubbles per tap. On impact, they pop after about 0.6 to 0.8 seconds in a 2.8 meter radius. The initial hit and the pop roll status separately. Pops don't need line of sight and will hit through walls. It's inaccurate at long range and the bubbles have travel time, so aim where enemies are going. not where they are. I'm running Cascadia Flare here. Every hit proc adds plus 12% damage for 10 seconds, stacking to 480%. It's additive with mods and it buffs all of Kompressa's damage, not just hit. It takes 40 hit procs to cap. With primed heated charge and high status, both the hit and the pop keep feeding it. Heat can come from this weapon, my abilities, other weapons, or a companion. So Flare keeps stacking even if the secondary is holstered. If 10 seconds pass with no new hit procs, all stacks drop at once. In Exilus, lethal momentum adds plus 40% projectile speed. Faster bubbles reach the target sooner and pop before enemies step out of the 2.8 meter radius. 4 mods, Galvanized Shot gives plus 80% status chance, and after a kill, adds plus 40% direct hit damage per unique status on the target for 14 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. It only buffs the direct hit, which fits Kompressa's initial bubble impact. Because multi-shot instances are treated as sequential, the first instance can apply a proc, and the next instance in the same trigger pool already benefits from shots bonus. Galvanized Diffusion adds plus 110% multi-shot, then plus 30% per kill for 20 seconds, up to 4 stacks. Lethal Torrent adds plus 60% fire rate and plus 60% multi-shot. Jolt gives plus 60% electricity and plus 60% status chance. Pistol Pestilence gives plus 60% toxin and plus 60% status chance. Frostbite gives plus 60% cold and plus 60% status chance. Primed Heated Charge adds plus 165% heat. Those 4 raise status output and supply the heat procs that build Cascadia Flare. I have a Kompressa Riven with plus 47.3% multi-shot, plus 82.6% damage, and plus 36.5% projectile speed. This isn't the best role for this weapon. If you're shopping for one, look for multi-shot, critical damage, and fire rate as the best stats, and try to get zoom or recoil as the negative. That's the setup. Flare rides heat procs. Lethal momentum fixes travel time. Shot multiplies direct hits as status stacks ramp. And Diffusion plus Torrent keep the bubbles thick. It stays inside the weapon strengths and plugs cleanly into the Nova kit we're running. For the ability rotation, here's the clean rhythm I keep and why each cast matters. Start with Null Star. Pop it at the start and keep it up. This is your 90% damage reduction. With Molecular Fission, kills on primed enemies keep refilling your particles so DR doesn't dip. With Neutron Star, a recast bursts guaranteed heat in an 8-meter radius and refreshes your reduction. Archon Vitality makes those heat procs apply twice. Every cast also feeds Brief Respite for shield gating. Then, Molecular Prime. Tap for slow if you want control. Hold for speed up if you want spawns and energy orbs from the passive. Molecular Prime adds plus 100% damage taken and makes enemies explode on death. Those kills feed Molecular Fission so Null Star stays topped. It also drives your passive. Slowed kills can drop health orbs. Sped up kills can drop energy orbs. Pick the mode you need and push the wave. Tag Tempest Barrage. Mark a spot at unlimited range with line of sight. The rain forces Corrosive and a stagger in a 5-meter blast. It holds lanes, softens armor, and stacks another status for your weapons. It's a one-handed cast, so place it while you move, reload, or shoot. Recast to cover a choke if you need more pressure. Send Antimatter Drop. Spawn the orb, steer it with your reticle, pump it with damage, then guide it in and detonate into primed packs. The plus 100% damage vulnerability from Molecular Prime pushes the blast harder. Use it to finish clusters or delete a priority target. Null Star, Molecular Prime, Tempest Barrage, Antimatter Drop. Rotating abilities keeps Arcane power rams stacked on the next cast, keeps Brief Respite shield gates rolling, and keeps DR, primes, and crowd controls all running at once. If DR dips, recast Null Star near enemies to burst heat and refill particles, then continue the cycle. A quick note on the melee weapon and companion I am using here. I'm using the same setup from my Nova Revisited build of the Dual Ichor Incarnon and Nautilus with Verglas Prime. I already covered those builds in detail there, so I won't repeat them here. If you want the full breakdowns, check the card that will pop up on the screen for the link on that video. That's a wrap, Tenno. Nova holds 90% DR with Null Star and Molecular Fission. The map stays primed, and Tempest Barrage adds steady corrosive pressure. Antimatter Drop cleans up packs. Coda Bassocyst marks heads and primes. Kompressa keeps Cascadia Flare up. Simple control and steady damage. Thanks for the continued support. We just passed 100 subs and we're slowly climbing. Your support helps me reach the goal of getting this channel monetized. If this helped, hit like and subscribe. Drop a comment with your Nova tweaks or questions, and share this with a squad mate who needs a reliable control build, and it helps the algorithm push the video to more Tenno, and it tells me to keep posting more builds. Anyway, guys, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. And again, I really appreciate you stopping by. See you in the next one, Tenno.